Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is our first official video of 2020 and I'd like to say Happy New Year everyone. It's not too late, we're still in January, okay? So it's fine. If this is your first time here, thank you so much for tuning in. Please remember to subscribe and comment down below. If you are a returning subscriber or someone who watches my videos, then welcome back. Thank you for tuning in again and for supporting me. Yesterday we actually made it to our first 300 subbies, so yay! Thank you so much guys. Please continue to subscribe and comment and like my videos, and just like tell your friends and your friends so that our little family can continue to grow. So in today's video, we are actually taking it back to basics because I realized that I do all these hectic things like eyeshadow tutorials without actually, touching on some basic things that are very important. So today we are actually going to be doing a video on how you can determine the right foundation for you or pick the right foundation for you. So the first thing that you need to know when you are picking your foundation is what your undertone is, okay? So this is so important because this is going to determine whether or not you're going to look red, orange, or gray when you pick a foundation, okay? So in order to know your undertone, let's first talk about what undertones are. These are just like tones that shine through your skin despite your skin being a certain color. So for example, I am obviously a black woman, right? But my undertone is like yellow, golden, whatever, and you can just see that. Let's like use this part of my body because obviously I have makeup on my face, so you can see like a yellow undertone, like you can just see warmth. I can't explain it further than that, but yeah, that's like the undertone, the color that shines through my skin. That's your undertone. So for some people it's like golden, like me. For other people it's red, okay? For other people it's orange, and for other people it's more of like a gray situation. Obviously, as a person of color, my video is going to be probably a bit more useful to a person of color, but ultimately the tips apply to everyone across the board, okay? So you need to know your undertone, number one, okay? And yeah, so the undertones we have are either warm or cold, okay? So warm being your golds, yellows, reds, orange, and then your cold being, of course, your like olive colored vibes. Yeah. Okay, so the easiest way to determine your undertone would be to look at your veins, okay? So when you look at your veins through your skin, what color pops through the most? So like what color do your veins look? My veins, I don't know if you can see, but my veins are green. This shows that I have a yellow undertone, right? Someone else, if you are someone who has blue or purple veins, that means your undertone is actually on the cold side, okay? So that would be like more of your olive gray undertones, okay? Another way for you to determine what your undertone is to look at what kind of jewelry suits you. So generally, experts say if gold jewelry suits you, then automatically you're a warm toned person, right? And if you are suited more by like gray jewelry, then obviously that means you are on the cold side. So those are two tips and tricks or whatever you can use to determine what your undertone is. So I've taught you what an undertone is, what the different undertones are that are there, and I've taught you how to determine which one is yours. Those two tricks, right? Okay, so now the next step after you've established your undertone is to, of course, match it. So you can't just pick up a bottle of foundation and expect that it's the one for you. You actually have to match it, okay? So matching it means actually applying it to your skin in order to determine if it actually disappears into your skin as soon as you apply it or within like a minute of you applying it. That's basically how you match it. So there are different ways to match, but I'll show you the most common ones and I'll show you the one that works for me. So usually people match from this part of their cheek down up until here. So that way you've covered your face and you've covered your neck area, because obviously you need your foundation to match your your whole area here. So it needs to match your face, it needs to match your neck, right? So as a rule of thumb, that's like the general rule, and that works very well for people with, you know, one skin tone. But if you're like me and, you know, I have hyperpigmentation on my face, you guys already know that I have like two main tones on my face. So more of like this area of my face, that's where I'm darker, and then like the rest of the part here, that's where I'm lighter. So I'm someone with two tones, which means that I need to find a shade that's gonna work despite me having two different colors on my face. So what I do is that I've actually decided that I'll match it to my chest. So every time I get a foundation, I match it to my chest, because my chest is a good representation of what the rest of my body looks like. So I'm actually in a weird position, because obviously because of my pigmentation on my face, my body is lighter than my face. So if I were to go for a dark foundation which matches my pigmentation, then that would mean that my foundation is dark and my face will be dark while my body's another color. So that obviously won't work. So I realized that when I match it to here, to my chest, I actually end up getting the perfect match, because this color is perfect for everything. Okay, so if you're like me, then that means you actually need to find a place to match it. So if you see that your chest is a more accurate representation of your needs, your foundation needs, then match it to your chest. Some people will find, like if you have hyperpigmentation like me, another thing you can do is match it to the lighter side. If the lighter side matches the rest of your body, if the darker side matches the rest of your body, then you match to the dark side. Ultimately, you're trying to look like one person, not like dark light or like light dark. We're just trying to be one. Okay, and another thing I've seen people do is matching to their forehead. So yeah, like I've said, determine which part works best for you in order for you to establish like the color that is your whole body. Match it to that part of you so that your face is matching your body, basically. So the third important thing that you need to know when you are actually determining which foundation is for you is for you to actually know what your skin type is. So we have different skin types. This is so important because different foundations have different formulas for the different types of skin. So the different skin types we have, of course, are normal, dry, oily, and combination. So combination means two of the previously mentioned skin types mixed together. So for example, I have combination skin. I have oily skin in here around my T-zone, and over here actually my chin as well, and then the rest of my face is normal actually. So that means, you know, I need foundation that works for that whole thing. So I usually go for like combination skin foundation. It's very important for you to actually determine what your skin type is. So if you're someone with oily skin, obviously you're more likely to go for a matte foundation, because that obviously works well with the fact that your skin is oily. The oily skin mixed with a matte foundation gives you a good finish when you're done with your foundation. Similarly, if you have dry skin, then obviously you're going to want a foundation that is more hydrating. So that's why it's so important for you to know, because if you have dry skin and you pick a dry foundation, like let's say the Estee Lauder foundation that's really matte, and you and your dry skin are really going to go through it, that's how you're going to have like a tight feeling on your face, and your foundation's going to crack simply because of things like that. So you need to know what type of skin you have, because then that's going to help you to pick the right foundation for you. Obviously, that's not to say that you can't go for a matte look if you have dry skin. It just means that, you know, there are different things you're going to have to do to make that work. But ultimately, you need to know your skin type so that you can make sure you get the right foundation for your skin. So those are the important things that you need to know when you are picking a foundation. So firstly, of course, you need to know your undertone. Number 2, you need to know your skin type. And number 3, you need to match it to like the right place on your body. So I also have just like 5 other points that I always think are useful when you're trying to determine your foundation shade. So number 1, obviously when you're matching your foundation, make sure that you go to the shop. I can't really say the pharmacy because you might just be going to like a department store or whatever. So go to the shop where you're buying a foundation with no makeup on. obviously. I mean, you're probably thinking, Tari, that's so obvious, but sometimes you need to say these things because you never know. But anyway, yeah. The second thing is that you need to try the foundation in natural light. If you're in a store, like let's say you're at Woolies and they obviously have like all this lighting going on, then I mean, try the different ones that you think are a good match for you, and then actually, you know, walk around the mall for a bit, then go outside. That way, if you've given it time to sit on your skin, then you know how it reacts with your skin and how it actually looks on your face once you apply it. So once you then get outside, then you can actually see in natural light if it really is a good match for you, because unfortunately sometimes the lighting can actually distort the way things look and ultimately make you pick the wrong color. Okay, another thing is obviously if you know, follow a lot of like beauty content, then I'm sure you would have come across like influencers and, you know, beauty YouTubers and stuff that actually share the same tone as you or the same foundation shade as you. So if you find that that's actually the situation, pay attention to the ones that they say they use. That way, the next time you're picking out a foundation, you can now go to a pharmacy or whatever and say, okay, fine, me and I don't know, K-Yarms are the same shade in Revlon and Estee Lauder, which means we're most likely the same shade in MAC. So this is the shade she uses. Can I try that? That way, when you go to the store now, you already have like a point of reference when you're picking your foundations. So you just, you know, go to whoever's helping you, tell them, I think this is my shade, but I'm not sure. Then you try that shade that you match to someone else, and then one up and one down. That way you've narrowed it down to 3 possible foundations without going through all the 40 or, you know, 50 if you're lucky that are there. So that's also another good tip. And the last one is, if you know your foundation shades for like at least 3 foundations, then you can use a website called findation.com. So findation.com. I will have a link down below where you can actually put in your different foundation names, I guess. So you have like the brand as well as like what your shade is in that brand, and then they actually match you to other foundations across different brands. That way, when you now want to try another brand, again, you can do what I just talked about, the whole thing of like, okay, this is probably my shade according to foundation, so I'm going to start here and I'm going to try one up and one down. So that's actually a good way for you to narrow down, you know, your foundations moving forward. Okay guys, so that's it for today's video. Obviously it was a lot of talking, which, you know, kind of sucks because even I feel like I've been talking for a while, but this is obviously a useful video. This is one of those videos that you actually need in life. So I hope you found it useful, and I hope that you know, will be able to find foundation shades moving forward, because starting next week I'll be reviewing foundations for you, and I will also be reviewing eyeshadow palettes. That way you don't have to waste your coin. I will let you know if it's worth it or not. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please remember to comment, like, and subscribe.